Professor T back with you one more time with my jazz and commercial peeps. We play all kinds of music, jazz and commercial. Today we're talking about Blues Walk, great Clifford Brown tune. So you should be looking at the handouts that are entitled Blues Walk, and this is the one that's in the key of B flat. And you should also be looking at blues in Roman numerals. Okay, the Roman numerals assigned to the chords is really the best way to transpose all of those chords to the different keys, because we're going to be playing blues through all 12 keys. Okay, you'll notice at the top of Blues Walk we're going to be using the B flat system, this sheet, for the keys of F, G flat, G, A flat, A, and B flat, again to keep your chords in a good sounding register on the keyboard. All right, not too low, not too high. Okay, I have my iReal Pro set up as a little backing for this. I'll play a couple of choruses of Blues Walk, and then I'll play a voicing at the end that I think you're going to like, and it's kind of extra. You don't really need to, you're not obliged to learn all of these endings and that kind of thing, but I think they're kind of fun for those of you who are sort of into doing that. So here's Blues Walk at kind of a nice easy tempo. Okay, that's a sort of an upper structured triad type of chord voicing, and we'll talk about that later. But first, let's get down to business here with the chord voicings that we're going to use for Blues Walk. Okay, the left-hand accompaniment. We went through our different chord types when we discussed the 5 basic jazz chord types. And the blues is really cool and kind of unique in that it doesn't start on a major 7th chord, and even though you can play a blues in a minor key, in this case we're not starting on a minor chord, we're starting on a dominant 7th chord. That really is not going to be putting anybody in the mood for playing the blues, okay? I just sounded a B flat major 7th type chord. We're going to lower that major 7th down a half step to turn this into a B flat 7th chord, okay? Most of the chords that we're going to be playing are dominant 7th chords. The E flat 7th is also the 4 chord. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is also not going to be major 7th. It's going to be dominant 7th. Or if you're telling your guitar player what chord you'd like them to play, you could just say E flat 7th. Okay, they'll know what you're talking about. Okay. And then, of course, the 5 chord would be a dominant 7th in either case. And in this case, we're also making the 6 chord, which would normally be a minor 7th. We're making it a dominant 7th also. So a lot of dominant 7th chords. This is a little different than the chord progression that a more traditional blues kind of player would be playing, like B.B. King or someone like that. This is more the way jazz musicians would be thinking about the chord progression they want to play on a blues. And the variations are countless, so this is just a starting off place. I think it's a good place to start with this particular chord progression. So we are going to be paring our chords down even farther than we did in Satin Doll. Okay, here we're going to not even play the roots of the chords. We're just going to play the 7ths and the 3rds. Okay, that doesn't mean that it's that easy to find all the chord voicings. Okay, it can still be a little bit of a challenge to find those chord voicings. So in this case, for the key of B flat, the 1 chord is B flat 7th. and we want the 7th as the lower interval. So maybe we could try our little trick again and put our 2 finger on that B flat, even though we're not going to sound it, and then put our 3 finger on A flat, that's the minor 7th, that's the note that we need for B flat 7th, and then D would be our thumb. Now we're sounding the 7th and the 3rd. For B flat 7th, if I reach over, there's a fuller sound on that. But I know I'm going to have my bass player playing B flat, probably on the downbeat usually for that, so that's going to fill that out. Okay? Now you're going to see how we're going to use smooth voice leading to create very little motion in the left hand, and the chords are going to go together great. So the 7th and the 3rd in the first measure for B flat 7th. To go to E flat 7th, we're going to play the 3rd as the lower interval, 3, 7, okay? And what's really great and almost magical is that we can just lower both of those notes by a half step to create the 3rd and the 7th of E flat. Here's E flat root, here's the 3rd, here's the 7th. Okay? So E flat 7, down a half step for E flat 7, and then back up to B flat 7 for 2 measures. Back down to E flat 7 for 2 measures. Back up to B flat 7 for 1 measure. Okay? Here's where things get a little bit different. Now we're going to want to go upward to our G7th, because that's going to make smooth voice leading coming back down again. So we're going to do, here's the root of G7th, of G, all right? Here's the major 3rd and the minor 7th. Okay? So there's the voicing for G7th. Here's B flat 7 to G7. Okay? And so for the blues for us today, the 2 chord is the only minor chord that we're going to play for now. And that's going to be C minor 7th. So let's try our little trick again. Here's C with our 2 finger. Here's the 7th and the minor 3rd. Okay, that'll be the voicing for C minor 7. G7, C minor 7. Here's F 7th. All we need to do is lower the B flat down to A, and we're sounding our F 7th, okay? And then finally B flat 7. We're going to repeat those 4 chords as a turnaround. I think you can hear how nicely that sounds harmonically. Okay, now we're going to focus on the melody. I want you to finger it in a way that's comfortable for you. I'm going to show you how I like to finger it, and I probably consistent at least 80 or 90% of the time, but try to be consistent about it, because then you're going to be, confident about playing, fingering correctly each time if you do it the same way. So it starts high and it goes low, okay? It's basically a downward kind of a sound. So I'm going to start on my 5 finger for those first 2 B flats, and then G, F, probably my 3 finger and my 2 finger, and my hand does not mind a wide leap between my 2 finger and my 1, or my pointer and my thumb. Okay, nice and easy to do. Bars 1 and 2. Watch for the upbeats leading into bar 3, again with my 5 finger. And this time I think you might like to finger it the way I do. I'm just going to go straight down my hand. 5, 4, 3, 2. Okay, the benefit there is no thumb crossings. Bars 5, 6, and 7 are 5, 6, 7, and 8 are the same riff. Okay, so and then the ending is just a very simple little riff. I'm probably going to put my thumb on the F. And I think that you can do the same fingering for every key. All right, so hands together slowly. Sorry. Here's that turnaround. And here's that voicing I was telling you about. Okay, this left hand stays the same. I'm simply playing an inverted C major triad. Okay, a major triad whose root is a whole step higher than my basic left hand chord voicing. Upper structure triad. I don't get too deeply into it. You're not obliged to play that, but it's just kind of a cool sound. Okay, I hope you're enjoying Blues Walk.